Today we're going to talk about blend mode and how to blend objects using the blend mode. So I'm going to start by drawing some two ellipses. I'm going to add a gradient to my ellipse. So let me open up my gradients panel. And I'm going to change the color. Double click. I'm going to add one more color here in my gradients panel in the gradient slider by simply clicking and then double click to change that color. I want to see what it looks like with the radial gradients. Okay, so I'm happy with that. And I'm going to add the same color to this object here. So using the eyedropper, I'm going to select this color. Okay, so I'm ready to blend both of these objects. So I'm going to select both and then go to Objects, Blend, and then Make. So now I blended these two objects, but I want to further the blend. That way it looks like one solid line. I'm going to go back to Objects, go back to Blend, and then this time I'm going to select Blend Options. And I want to make sure I have the preview selected. Specify steps. So originally it was 7 steps, so it had seven circles or 7 ellipses. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in between my original objects. And I'm going to bump it up to 200 and then click OK. And I'm going to replace this line with this object that I just created. I'm going to select both objects and then go to Object, Blend, and select on Replace Spine. And I can still make adjustments if I want using my direct selection tool. And send it to the back. There you go. Now you have this sort of 3D effect. And we can still make adjustments here. Let me go ahead and move my background to a new layer and lock it so it doesn't get in my way. So I'm going to go back to Object, Blend Options. Make sure I have the preview selected. And I'm going to bump up these steps because now I have 200 objects in between, but I want to make it a little smoother. So I'm going to see what it looks like with 300. And that looks way smoother. So now I'm going to add a shadow. And I just want a black and white gradient. And I'm going to lower the opacity. Maybe my background color is a little too dark. Okay, I think that works. All right, so that's how you make a 3D effect using the blending mode. So let's take it a step further, and I'm going to use it to write a script font here. So I'm going to select both objects, go back to Object, Blend, Make, and then make some adjustments to my blending options here, or with my blending options, specify steps, and then bump it up. So I'm going to make a copy of this. And then I'm going to replace each piece of my text here with my object. So select both, go back to Object, Blend, Replace Spine. And now to replace that spine, I'm going to make some adjustments here. And sometimes when you replace the spine, you'll be able to see part of the circle here. So that just means you have to go back and add a few more steps here. So I'm going to go back to Blend, Options, and just bump those steps up. Now I'm going to copy this object and select both, Object, Blend, Options. Actually, I'm going to go to Object and Replace Spine. So I started off with larger circles than I needed, so I'm going to come back and make them a little smaller. And you could also come back with your selection tool and rearrange your spine. So I want to rearrange this letter here. That way it looks more like an S. And then I'm going to replace the rest. Okay, so now I just want to add a shadow to make the 3D effect pop a little more. I'm going to darken the background. I'm going to go to Effects, Outer Glow, change the opacity to 50. And there you go. That's how you use the blending mode to create custom text and give 3D effects to objects or script fonts.